Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another edition of the GOAT Debate Podcast, episode, I think we're at 26 now. If you look to my side, I am joined by none other than the one and only, as he says. Nope, not Stokes. He's out. He's gone. He's disappeared. No, I brought James on tonight. What's up, James?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Oh, nothing much. I'm excited for this episode because usually you're attacking me from the comments and you're attacking each and every pick, but not tonight. I said, if Stokes is going to leave that chair open, you know what? We're going to find out what's going on tonight. James, you're going to be in the building this time.
All right. I'm up to it, man. I'm up to it.
All right. Well, we got an interesting one tonight. This topic was quite a surprise to me. It was the most commented on topic out of all the topics from the tribe. This one's got the most participation. I think there were 44 different people selected for this this GOAT. So to me, that caught me by surprise. I wasn't sure what kind of reaction we would get, because tonight we're talking about the best TV couple of all time, James, and like I said, the 44 different couples were nominated for tonight's episode.
Well, wow. That's a lot of couples.
I don't even know 44 couples on TV. I mean, that's a huge list, my friend.
Oh yeah. I think you come up with 50 if you think hard enough.
Yeah, you probably, but good couples, not just couples.
I got
couples that are worthy as GOAT status. That's what I'm talking about. All right, for those who aren't familiar or catching this show for the very first time, what we do is we poll our people, our fans, our followers, the tribe. We get their top 5 of any given topic. In this case, we're talking about best TV couples. We take that and we combine it with the host's choice, and we get a composite ranking to get the best of the best, the GOAT. So we go through the top 5, but before we do, we start with the first 2 out. Those 2 that just didn't get enough votes to get into the top 5, but should be recognized for their status. And in this case, we're going to go to one that's near and dear to my heart. But I don't know if they're top 5 worthy. But that's why they're not on the list. But enough people voted that it was close. Now, I don't know that they're top 5 worthy. James, this couple were brought to us in 1990 when a boy who was in trouble in Philadelphia was cabbed all the way across the country to Bel Air. And we met the Banks, Philip and Vivian Banks. From 1990 to 1996, they graced our television screen. 2 powerful black, people coming together to love. Now, my question to you, James.
Okay.
When we get Philip and Vivian Banks, are we talking about dark-skinned Viv, light-skinned Viv? I was confused how they got so many, because that's a different dynamics. I mean,
exactly.
Maybe the episode came on when there was a shift and they said, oh, something looks different about you, and they just went about their business. I guess we're supposed to do that too. And it's just all one Viv.
I couldn't do it. And as much because anytime I think of the Fresh Prince of Bel Air in the couple, I always think of dark skinned Viv. Because light skinned Viv, I wasn't feeling that. And I know I'm supposed to look at the overall of it all, but I kept thinking of dark skinned Viv, so unfortunately I couldn't even put them as an honorable mention on my list. I didn't
Right.
even rank them. So and that's basically what it is. Because anytime I think of Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv, those are the two I think of. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah, for sure. So, it was hard, but dark skin and Uncle Phil, they had chemistry. They looked good together. They were powerful. You know, Ahmed wasn't taking nothing from Philip or the kids. Um,
mm-hmm.
but to me, it's like I fought for that. I fought against that, I should say, because it kind of rubbed me a little weird. So, but they came in. They came in towards the bottom of the honorable mentions.
Yeah. Just another
So
side note: if you notice when they did the shift, you notice when dark skinned Viv was a teacher and she was more active with the school. When they shifted to light skinned Viv, she wasn't doing all that teaching. So it at the power dynamic kind of that's what it was. The power dynamic wasn't there anymore. So that's how I
there
looked
you
at it.
go. But they got enough votes. Like I said, a lot of and I think because people love that show and they are the head of that household, maybe they got a little sympathy votes, right?
Right.
Maybe because we got the reunion on HBO Max that just came out. Did you sign up for your 30-day trial yet
Oh,
and check that out?
I already got HBO, so I didn't get a chance to
Okay.
look at it yet. So I'll probably take a look at it this weekend. I got a busy work schedule, so
Yeah, I'm absolutely gonna see it. I'm a big Will Smith fan, and so I love everything about the Banks. I just don't love this choice. So
yeah.
we're gonna move right along. We're gonna move on to the second honorable mention on our list, and this one's it's a little bit different. It's this one you'll see it'll stand out from amongst the rest of tonight's uh, you know couples. This
Okay.
couple came in 1989, and they took they took the world by storm. Some people say they even put another couple who's on this list out of business in a sense because they disrupted so much. But if we reflect back to just them themselves, it's a different dynamics. I think although they don't look like anybody, I think it's a dynamic that a lot of people can relate to. And what I'm talking about is Homer and Marge Simpson. Homer and Marge Simpson coming on the honorable mention list. What do you feel about the love between Homer and Marge Simpson on cartoon?
I'll be honest with you. They came in on my list at rank number 4. Um, and I like I said, they've been on TV for what? How many years? About
Woo,
what? Is it getting
30.
close?
Oh,
Is that like over 30? Is it 30? 31?
yes.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
yeah. So, and you really can't do nothing without Homer without Marge. So, you know, I mean popularity, and I mean they still popular to this day. So, um, I mean as an
It's
honorable mention, that's good. But like I said, on my personal list, I had them at 4. So,
I may have had them higher to crack into my top five, but I wasn't a big Simpson fan. But just knowing, the history and the relationship, and he was kind of like, I guess, like screw up, and she kept the family in in check rather. That's balance there, right? That's balance,
right,
and their household looks like the way that many American households look like. You know, you got your father out there. Maybe he ain't the best, but you got the strong mom, keeping things, real and holding things down for everyone.
Right.
So it's an interesting dynamic, and it comes in as our honorable mention. Now, before we get into the top 5, I want to take this time to remind people about this hat I'm wearing, James. You see this hat I'm wearing?
Oh yeah,
you see it?
I see it. Oh yeah,
you got a good look at it. It's a beautiful hat, James. And what this hat is, for those who don't know, it says "Watch Social Network." James, I know you're asking, what is Social Network, and why should I be watching it? Well, I'm glad you asked. Thanks, James. Thanks for setting me up like that. Social Network is a new social media network, right? And we are launching very soon. We've been working very, very hard on it. And it's going to be a network for all people with all types of creativity. We're podcasts. You could be a musician. You could be a game show. There may be an amazing game show coming very, very soon, James. But there's a lot of things coming to this network, and you can find it on Fire TVs, and you can find it on Roku's right now. But it is a website where you can come in, you can comment, you can blog, you can sell your merch. You can start an account like a Patreon if you have a following there. So it's a place where creative people can get together, and then they can socialize with other creatives. So you can socialize with, people who don't have podcasts. Maybe you just want to come in and hang out and throw up, funny memes. Guess what? You're welcome to. So James, the Social Network is coming very, very soon, and I'm excited about it.
Oh, I'm excited about that. I'm excited about that.
So big things coming. Big things coming. All right. I guess we should now get into this top 5. And before I do, I want to give the people a chance to like the page. Did they like the page yet, James? They need to like the page.
Oh yeah, they do. Likes help.
Absolutely. So we've given them a second to like the page. We've given them a second to go to the social on Facebook and like that page as well. I've got people all up in my business. I'm trying to conduct a podcast. This is professional, sir. If you don't go upstairs, thank you. Bye. Always a disruptor, James. He needs the hat. Everybody needs the hat. Here, have the hat. Take it. Bam. Everybody wants a social hat. You can get one. There's a merch store. It's coming to you soon. All right. Now, if we can get on to the rest of the show without interruption, this one it gets crazy because we're starting off our top 5 with a tie. This couple entered your lives in 1951 through 1957. I'm pretty sure Stokes had this really high on his list because back in 1951, he was glued to the television. Y'all, I'm sure when it came out, he was right there in front of it, excited to see it. This is a legendary couple. I wasn't born in the 50s. I wasn't alive, either. James.
I wasn't either.
Okay. So me and you together here. Stokes was there. He knows all about this couple.
Oh, I do too.
Oh, you know about them too. Well, great, because what we're talking about is the great Lucy and Ricky Ricardo. This couple, they a comedy duo. I know Ricky Ricardo was, became of great fame, because, there wasn't a lot of Ricardos on the TV, especially back in the 50s, right?
Exactly.
But the comedy, the relationship was gold, and they're a household name today. And for them to break into the top 5, 70 years, removed from Aaron, that's crazy. What do you think about Lucy and Ricky?
Actually, I had them number 1. And
Whoa.
yeah, number one all time. Mainly because
Wow.
even though I wasn't born in the 50s, believe it or not, that was my first TV couple that I really like experienced because growing up, especially in the summertime, I Love Lucy used to come on in the afternoons, noon for 2 episodes for an hour. So
Okay.
I would watch that, and basically that was like my first introduction to TV couples slash comedies, and
Okay.
that yeah, and among other shows, but that was one of the first ones. And when this uh debate came up, that was the first couple I had on my list. That's who I popped. That's popped in my head right off the bat because I believe they the ones that like started it all off. So that's my opinion.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's definitely fair. And I think a theme for me is the relationship, the balance between the couple that makes them a great couple. And
Yeah,
Lucy was always getting into trouble.
exactly.
You know, something was always going on. The scene that pops out to me the most was her working on a conveyor belt that just goes nuts. Um,
Her
and
and Ethel
then yeah, just trouble all the way.
always.
Just
Yep.
staying in trouble and I was getting I was reading the comments is what I was doing. You know, Claire says they're probably the only TV couple that was married in real life. Um, I'm trying to think.
Possibly.
I think
I
Marge,
believe.
yeah, Marge and Homer maybe though. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. But
I'm not gonna sit up to say they're the only ones. I just can't think of any other ones, but I know
I
it's a
can't think
couple of
of any other
more. I know it's a couple of more that was married in real life, but they was probably the first one though. And I
probably one of the first and
yeah,
definitely most prominent. Definitely the most
yeah,
prominent.
right.
But you know, just to finish my thought, Lucy was the troublemaker. She was always getting into trouble, and Ricky was the straight man, and you know, catching her and all her shenanigans. But like I said, it was a great dynamic. You know, one of the first big uh, Cubans to make it to mainstream TV, um, and
You
and
can
and just an icon.
yeah, you can even say they was probably the blueprint to most of those shows with couples that were the couples were like the main characters in the show. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely a classic, and like I said, they were my number one. So
All right.
which mean which mean which mean which means that the tribe must have voted them really low.
They actually okay. So I'm glad you brought that up. So the tribe did not actually vote them very low. I'm having my brain is shut off today, but they actually came in as a three-way tie for number two on their list.
Oh, really?
It was a
Oh,
three-way tie tonight for two. So it was very interesting. What happened was they weren't on my list.
wow.
They weren't on. I don't think they were on Stokes' list.
Okay.
I would assume because if they were on Stokes' list, they would have probably been higher since they were tied at two.
Okay.
So yeah. This, like I said, this is a chaotic episode of there's so many couples, so
Yeah,
many
just
great couples.
just a little research. I went online and I went to 3 different sites. Best Life had them ranked number one.
Okay.
Uh, Yardburner had them ranked number three, and who was the other one? Best. Oh yeah, I said Best Life already. I can't remember the other one, but they had on ranked number one as well. So three of them had number one.
Listen, they are legends. Apparently, Stokes and myself. I'll speak for myself since Stokes not here. Let me see if I have his list real
Yard
quick.
Barker, that's what it is.
Yard Barker, yep.
Yeah, Yard Barker.
Maybe I don't know. Did he even send me his list? You know, he be cheating sometimes. He be cheating all the time, actually. I don't know. I thought he sent me his list, but maybe he didn't. Sometimes he liked to act like he sent me a list, but then he'd be going off what the tribe say. You know, I can say that now because he's not here. But we'll move on. If you notice, I said tied at number 4, so that means we went to the other number 4 on the list. Now this one, James, I had a problem with. Stokes and I listen, we was going at it in the comments, in our messages, back and forth on this couple, because this couple, although everybody knows them for the most part, I would say, I didn't think they deserved to be on the list. But we mentioned that there was a logjam at the top. Tied at number 2 on the Tribes list comes in a couple from 1971 through 1979. They are the controversial, they are the dynamic Archie and Edith Bunker from All in the Family. Archie and Edith Bunker. Before I spit my hate, how do you feel about Archie and Edith making the top 5?
They weren't in my top 5.
Okay.
And I'm gonna do you like Eminem. I'm about to head you off at the pass. I already know your beef with them, and I could debunk everything you about to say. I'm gonna let you get it out though. I'm gonna let you get it out. But I thought they were funny. I thought he was funny. And believe it or not, at that time, they were real, because you didn't have people doing what Archie was doing back then. Everybody was kind of treading lightly. On TV, the stuff he was saying and doing, he wasn't doing it. And it kind of set a tone. But like I said, I'm gonna let you get what you got out, because I'm about to tear your whole argument down. I guarantee you, after I do it, you'll be on my side. Go ahead.
Strong words. Only James. Okay, so let's talk about it then. We talk about Archie, we talk about Edith, right? We're talking about best TV couples, right?
Right.
When I think of couples, I think about love and respect and honor and the relationship the couples have, right? And when I look at Archie and Edith Bunker, I don't see none of that. What I see is a bigoted, crotchety old man that tells it like it is. Tells it like it is? Really? He's calling his wife stupid, and you need to belong in the kitchen, and just demeaning her at every pass. James, I don't know if if you have a wife or a girlfriend or what you have at home, but you telling me, this is argument number 1, because since you debunking every step, we're gonna take it one step at a time. You telling me that's what you inspire to have with your significant other is someone you could tell to be quiet and remind her how dumb she is and just send her to the kitchen. That's what you think is a great couple. That's what you're telling me.
No, but your definition of greatest TV couples doesn't necessarily have to be built on the classic husband-wife scenario. The what it is when I took it, I looked at chemistry, as far as like the comedic chemistry or however that genre was. It could have been a sitcom, drama, or anything else. And based on what they did and the chemistry that they created on the screen, that's why I feel like they were a couple. Because, well, I'm not gonna get ahead of ourselves, but that's one of the reasons. Now, the other reason, I know you have a problem with him being a bigot and a racist, but that was the character he was supposed to portray.
Right. Exactly. But we put in people that we like, right? They are supposed to be the best. That doesn't show the best that you're a bigot just because it's a character.
No, but it was fun. That's what it was. And people, it's like this. People on screen, if you have everybody acting the same way on screen, it looks generic. But if you got somebody that's doing something totally different, like he wasn't out cheating on his wife. He wasn't out cheating on his wife. He didn't beat on her. But some of the stuff he did say was rude and crude, but it was funny though. And believe it or not, in her own way, she got back at him. She just didn't sit up there and just take it all the time. She got back at him.
Yeah, every now and again she did snap back. But let me ask you this, because the characters that you're describing reminds me of someone in real life. And he snaps back at a lot of people. He's different from a lot of people. He keeps it real, like a lot of people. And but I'm not going to, when there's a GOAT debate of the greatest presidents of all time, I'm not including Trump in there.
Hey, look, I put it this way. All right. Now that's a totally different subject. Now he could have been looking at old episodes of All in the Family and picked up that persona and tried to use it in real life.
Number one. Listen, I'm gonna go back through the tri votes. I'm pretty sure Trump's gonna vote him number one for sure. He's like, he's a very great man. He does a lot of great things. Like, come on. Like, we talking about relationships, you know. I can't put someone on a pedestal because that's what we're doing as the GOAT, the greatest of all time, for someone who is dragging everybody that he interacts with. That's like, there's nothing great about that. You know, they did depict it. You know, Stokes was saying, I'm going to throw his arguments out here, even though he's not there to back them up. He was saying, you know, that, oh, well, that's how it was in the time. Well, that doesn't make it right. We also, you know, people in this country bought and sold slaves. I'm not going to put that on the pedestal either. All right. That's the dramatic version of what we're talking about. But yeah, so there was nothing good about it. Yes, they were a couple. Yes, they were on screen for a long time. Yes, they challenged society's thought process, which I'm not saying is bad or anything like that. Right. You know, maybe the country needed it, but as a couple, even like the villain of the movie, I'm not going to put on a pedestal of being a great guy because he did great things, you know, evil things or whatever.
Well, all I'm saying is the dynamic of the show is why people voted this the way they did, because it's something memorable. I'm not saying it was in the best light, but it was something memorable. They were a memorable couple because of the dynamic of the show. So that's what people are looking at. That's why I'm not, like I said, I'm not every couple. As I was going through the rankings and pairing them up to different couples that they were ranked in different magazines or whatnot. A lot of these couples, like for example, I came across Lucius and Empire. Cookie, yeah, Cookie and Lucius, and I was like, huh? And my man Lucius cheated on her. and you know, but they were a memorable couple though, and that's what people are looking at. They're not just looking at the whole love dynamic. That's what I'm trying to say.
I got you there. That makes sense to me. They're wrong, but it makes sense to me. Let's go on to couple number 3. This couple comes in at number 5 on the Tribes list. I had them at number 2, and tonight they come in at number 3. James is shaking his head. I don't know why, because in 1993, the world stood still for this couple. They lasted through 2000 and beyond. There was a spinoff. I'll be honest, I didn't see the spinoff. I don't know if anybody else did. It may not be on the air anymore. But
she's still fine, though. She's still fine.
The person you're talking about is the relationship, the Matthews, Corey and Topanga Matthews from Boy Meets World. Listen, James, when I was a kid, TGIF, Boy Meets World, this was the story. This was, to me, that was like, to be honest, that was like a relationship you sought off to have. Like Corey, he had the girl, he had the best friend, he had the loving parents, he had the big older brother, he had the neighbor who was a mentor and a principal. But he had Topanga, who started off very wacky and very weird, and I guess she always was, because she ended up proposing to him. So that was weird. She did. And then turned him down at the altar. So,
yeah, she did. I forgot all about that.
Yeah, it was a crazy relationship. But how do you feel about Corey and Topanga coming in at number 3 on the Goat Debate's top 5 of best couples?
They were not. I was a fan of the show, but they were not in my top 5. And I have several reasons why. I believe there were more classic couples in there. Now, they were in my top 10. Trust me, when I wrote down couples, they did pop up, but they were not in my top 5. They didn't make it. They made it like at number 8, maybe 8 or 9.
Wow.
Because and I'm going to state this because there's another couple who hasn't made the list that I will put ahead of them.
Wow. Okay. Well,
it's a couple of couples.
Wow. I see. I just
I understand. I understand. It's classic because it's the childhood going to adulthood, and I got that. But there was another show that was like that did not make the list.
I'm intrigued because I don't know this couple you're referencing.
Same. It wasn't TGIF, but it was on the same network.
All right. We're gonna get to our snubs in a second here, and we'll hear all about this. But we'll get back to Corey and Topanga because that was the couple for my youth. I mean, you know, there wasn't many others there. Claire thinks she knows what it is. Don't acknowledge it yet, but you're saying no. It can't be because he was chasing for way too long.
Right, way too long. It's like rules to this. He had to had her. He didn't get her to like the last season.
Right. When he became,
and he was about to float off into space. And he was about to float off into space.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I would have put Steve and Myra, right?
They had a longer relationship. Yeah.
but Corey Topanga, to me, that was it, man. That was like in middle school or early high school. That's what you was looking for. Someone that was you ride or die, was there for you through everything. He was crazy about her, and it just was a great dynamics to me. As a kid, that's all I knew. When I see relationships on TV at that time, that's what I knew. Corey and Topanga. That's one of my favorite couples of all time, even though I'm grown. So you can't beat that. You can't beat that. All right, so we'll take a pause from our. We'll go on to our number two. I forgot how to run the show, James.
That's all right.
Long day. We'll go to number two on our list. Number two on the list now. Number two on the list. I take a deep breath because I had them high. I had them number 3, and the tribe had them tied at number 2. And Stokes was trying to tell me that this couple was the exact same as the couple that came at number 4, Archie and Edith Bunker.
And they were. Ooh. And they were.
Okay, we're going to talk about it from 1975 to 1985. Moving on up on our list, George and Wheezy. The Jeffersons. Okay, let's talk about it, James. Let's talk about it because, like I said, I had them super high on my list, 3. Mm-hmm. And since booted out Archie, I said, get on out of here, Archie. I was getting some heat from Stokes because he said that they're the same exact couple, but they're not. So
yes, they are.
All right, talk to me then, James. What's going on with George and
First off, let's go down to a little TV history. The Jeffersons is a direct spinoff from All in the Family.
Right.
When you really look at it, we're gonna do the family tree real quick. All in the Family spun off Maude, which spun off Good Times. But it also crossed over to the Jeffersons, and then the All in the Family also had like 2 or 3 direct spin-offs with Archie Bunker. So Archie Bunker, and then you got 704 Hauser, which was a one season with John Amos. Yeah, one season on Channel 2, 704 Hauser. If anybody ever get a chance, just Wikipedia and look up All in the Family, and you'll see all the spinoffs from that. Anyway, the Jeffersons were the black version of All in the Family. George was racist towards white people. Yes, he was. Oh, I think your sound. I can't hear you. Your sound out.
Can you hear me now?
Go. I can hear you.
Are we good? All right.
We good. All right. Yeah. So and then of course you had the crossovers where the Jefferson or George and Archie would go at it. And yes, he did the same exact thing to Wheezy. He used to insult Wheezy. You can't sit up there and say he didn't. He did. Come on now. No, ain't no difference.
It's different. Listen, it's different because at the end of the day, he also showed a lot of love to Wheezy.
And so did Archie. He had his own way of showing her love. Like he got on her. I remember a couple of episodes. He got hard on Edith, and at the end of it, he was just like, I love you, this, that, and the other. Gave her a hug and a kiss.
Yeah, that's what people say.
All right.
Abusers say that, though.
Whatever, man.
Like when they beat me, beating their wives, and they be like, you know I love you, don't leave me. Yes, of course he did.
He didn't beat her though. You ain't never seen him beat on
They
Edith.
didn't show it. They didn't show it. But listen, we can read between the lines. And the way she was jumping back into them kitchens.
Oh, whatever, man.
Listen, I just watched the episode today where George had a business deal because he was a businessman. He had a business deal that was supposed to, be getting his business popping and going. But she lost this flower that was stuck in a book.
Mm-hmm.
And he skipped off on the meeting, went all over town, was bribing flower vendors to open up the shop, got his pants all torn off, ended up buying the flower shop owner's wife's corsage and sneaking it back in the house at the end of the night just so she'll have this precious corsage that she was really hoping for. Got torn up by dogs, spent a bunch of money all for this, missed out on a major deal. And he said, why? Because I love you. Those are the acts of kindness that are true love. Archie wasn't doing that. Okay,
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. But I still stand on, the dynamics of the different shows, and that's what makes them memorable. So,
all right, fair enough. A lot of people, because they did crossovers, it's hard to differentiate the two. It's hard to separate them because they are so connected. And and George was he was a brash guy. He was down talking to a lot of people, but he loved his son. He's buying his son's, on that very episode, buying his son watches. And Archie was calling his son, a bum, so it's like.
Well, that was actually his son-in-law, so that's different.
Yeah, so, it's a little, that could be a little different. Fair enough. But, so I just see them a little bit different, but I get it. I understand. I don't understand Stokes' point all the way, which is why he decided not to show up today, because he knew he didn't have a great opinion. But I'll leave it at that. All right, coming in at number 2, George. And I heard an interesting interview with Sherman, who plays George, and said he knew a girl from around the way that he loved, and her nickname was Wheezy. So he asked if he could call her Wheezy on the show, and they didn't care. So that's how apparently the nickname came.
Oh, okay.
He was reaching into his real life with that George and Wheezy. So, but he didn't get that Wheezy. He got this one. So,
Marla Gibbs even had a spin. Marla Gibbs had her own spin off from that show too. It only lasted a year. Yeah.
What was that?
I cannot remember. I want to say that she was working at a hotel.
Okay.
But it was a spin-off. It was on Channel 4. It only lasted a year. I think it made like 8 or 10 episodes. It's like a whole tree of them shows off of all the family. So it's crazy.
For the sports enthusiasts, it's like the Bill Parcells or Bill Belichick tree. It runs deep. It runs deep. Lots of folks. So those are both, great shows, very memorable shows, very memorable characters, which is why they make the list. Now, those who didn't make the list, like I said, we had 44 different couples that got nominated. This is a highly controversial in that aspect. Lots of couples that could have made the list. We've got a lot of cartoon couples, real life couples, all kinds of things.
I know Peter. I know so someone actually voted for Peter Griffin.
Listen,
That's as dysfunctional of a couple as you can get, man. Like his wife cheated on him like 3 times, man. She cheated on with Bill Clinton, man.
that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Listen, you talking about dysfunctional. One was the Bundys. You know.
Yeah, but once again, it's the dynamic of the show.
Yeah. Yep. That's for sure. We got Bob and Linda on there. I'm trying to see some more random ones. These are cartoons, Fry and Leela. So there's a bunch of different couples that got nominated. Give me you had one. You gave us a teaser for one that should have been on here before Corey and Topanga. You said it was not Steve Urkel. I've got to hear this couple.
You talking about childhood couple, Kevin and Winnie from the Wonder Years.
Okay. I get you there. All right. I know that's made a lot of big lists too. I watched that show, but I've never rewatched that show, if it makes sense. So I've seen it, but I have vague memories.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, they never get married.
They get married?
They never get married.
They never get married.
Yeah, they got all the way up to, I believe, college, and they ended up not getting married. They ended up they ended up realizing that they were better as friends. But they weren't on my top 5 though. The one that was on my top 5 was Dwayne Wayne and Whitley.
Okay,
from a different world.
Okay. See, that's a tough one for me because their relationship was an off and on type deal. She was about to get married to another man, right?
After they was together for about 2 years.
And she already jumping off and getting married? How serious was it?
They broke up, man. They broke up. In 6 months' time, she got proposed to. She took the marriage because she was waiting for him to step up. When he finally stepped up, that was it, man.
Now, was he going to Japan during this time?
No. He didn't go to Japan because of her, I believe. No. It wasn't because of her. He wanted to keep teaching. But eventually he ended up going to Japan though, because he came out with a computer program that teaches math, and they implemented it into a game system or something like that. So they offered them a contract that's how it ended. They ended up moving to Japan.
Okay.
To work for this company in Japan, yeah.
Claire says yes, the best couple. So she agrees with you there. Yeah. I listen. I can't put them above Boy Meets World because that was my show for so long. But a great couple could be a top 5 couple. Listen, one that a lot of people. Okay, we getting details. Claire knows all the details. He went to Japan and came back. And
he went to Japan for an internship. Yeah. Hold on. I got somebody knocking at my door.
That might be Stokes. Stokes might be at his door right now trying to find out how this episode is going since he abandoned us. But that's okay. He didn't really abandon us. He's hanging with his family. But since he's not here, I'm going to, bash him, tremendously. There are a lot of great couples, as I was mentioning, that did not make the top 5 because, there's only 5 spots. let me take a look at the list of a couple that that got thrown out there. Sinclair and Overton got some votes. Joni and Chachi got some votes. Ben and Leslie from Parks and Rec got some votes. Mork and Mindy got some votes. So I don't know if they're being funny. They got some votes. Listen, that was, the Robin Williams was way before my time on TV show. So I miss that whole era. Somebody put Bert and Ernie. Listen, they had a run, but they can't even establish what their relationship is or isn't. So there's no way it makes top 5. Come on. For a newer show, this is probably one of the most recent shows. Beth and Randall. Beth and Randall from This Is Us got some votes there, and I think that's probably the most recent show. I'm just and then you have Dre and Bo from Blackish got some votes. I mean, lots and lots of different votes that popped in.
So you mean tell me Bert and Ernie got one?
Somebody voted. Listen, like I just said,
that was comedy relief right there.
I don't know if they're gay or not. Like, how could we we don't know what their relationship is. How could we add them to the list of top couples? We don't know if they're even a couple. People denying it. They're not coming up front. It's 2020. Let us know.
I'm not, no comment, man. I ain't even gonna mess with that, man. I'm good.
Okay. All right, I got one for you. James. Now, I don't know if you know this show. I know you know of this show, but I don't know if you know this show. It's not a couple. It's not the first couple from the show that people would think of, but I'm gonna put them. I already know top 5.
I already know where you're going. I already know. Go ahead.
Okay, so listen. There's a divide in the community. People say it's all about living single, but there's friends.
Okay. I knew that's where you was going. Now, can I could defend you on this one. Okay. For all of you all that says Friends is a copy of Living Single, y'all wrong.
Okay.
Two totally different ones. Two totally different scenarios. First off, I could break it all down the middle. Friends, there's 6. Okay, 3 girls, 3 guys, right?
Yeah.
And Living Single is 5. 3 girls, 2 guys. Right?
Right.
Friends, you ended up with two couples getting together. Only one couple. Well, I take that back. It was 2 couples in Living Single. Max. Yeah. But the dynamics is totally different. Dynamics is way totally different. And I got into it with Stokes about that. We talked about this, and I said I wore him down.
Stokes was wrong, wasn't he?
He was wrong.
Yeah,
and that's my cousin. That's Brett. I told him he wrong.
He was wrong.
He was wrong. And I was like, no. And everybody want to make it a black-white thing. And it's like, oh, they stole the idea. No, it's 2 totally different things. 2 totally different shows.
Listen, I agree. They're friends, right? Living in a big city, right? So those are 2, but the storylines are different. Everything about it is different, except for there was a group of friends, right? And exactly. maybe that's all they needed to take and spin it off. Maybe. Okay, I can say that, but they are totally different. And to bring it back to the show, the couple that a lot of people were talking about and have nominated, and I've seen them on a lot of lists, is Ross and Rachel, right? Because the whole series follows their on again, off again relationship, but it was an on again, off again relationship. The one that wasn't was Monica and Chandler. That was the relationship. That was the cool dynamics. You have the neat freak, the anal person, and then you have the goofy guy, and
The
their
sarcastic
chemistry
guy.
coming together. Very sarcastic.
He was very
Super
sarcastic. And see, unlike Stokes, I was open to that show. And the only reason I was open to it because it went to syndication. So sometimes you get out of school or whatever, and it's nothing really on TV because I didn't have cable when I was growing up. You watch what was on TV, so that's how I got hooked on the Friends. And I went from syndication to the actual, showing, and I even watched it all, the whole series. And but Monica and Chandler was not the memorable couple.
What? Oh, what?
If anything, I'll put them in like my top 25, maybe my top 50, but they didn't even, I wasn't even sniffing at that. If anything, even though the dynamics of Rachel and Ross on again and off again, I would rank them ahead of them because of all the stuff they went through. They got, how many times they get married, man? Like 3 times, 2 times, 3 times?
I don't know. They have problems. Is how I see it.
Then they got drunk and then she got pregnant and they had a kid together. Then it was I want to be with you. She almost hooked up with Joey. Then they ended up.
She did. I mean,
they didn't do anything.
Go all the way, but
yeah, they was this close.
I remember them on the couch.
Yeah, they was this close. It didn't happen. It almost happened. It didn't happen. Because trust me, if it happened, her and Ross would have never got back together. But that's a different story. We getting off subject.
we are. Let me ask you about this one before we continue on. One of my other favorite couples was Michael and Jay Kyle from My Wife and Kids. You weren't a fan of My Wife and Kids? Come on, man. That was a great couple.
I was a fan of that, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't even think of them.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't think of them, man. Because
I like that show.
I don't know why, but because they used to do their kids so bold, man. With the things they would do to Junior and all the and his sister, his sisters, I was just like, y'all out here, they was crazy. So, but but I wouldn't, I didn't rank them memorable.
Oh man, I think a lot of that might have to do is how long some of these other shows went on compared to theirs. But I thought it was a great series.
I love the series though. I love the series, but I think with me, I didn't look at the couple dynamic. I just looked at Damon Wayans. I mean, how his character was and stuff, his antics and what he was doing. So I never really looked at. I mean, some people would put Martin and Gina way ahead of them. From Martin.
See, I thought, of course, I thought about those two when when you put on Gina, Gina, when you put Gina in there. You have to think about her other characters, her other relationships as well. So, and I wouldn't be mad if they put them ahead. I kind of like that dynamic, a little bit there, but it's close to me. It's close for me. All right. Do you have any other snubs before we jump into the number one of all time?
Let me see. Who else did I have on here? Nope. That's it. I think we covered that. The only thing I would like, I was going through a certain list, and I'm just gonna ask you this because I saw like in one article the best life top 50, they had the couple, Coach Taylor and Tammy from Friday Night Lights. Have you ever seen that series, Friday Night Lights?
No, I haven't
And
seen
they
it.
had them number two.
I haven't even seen the movie.
I saw the movie, I I don't know. I just found it real weird. I was just like, really? I was like, I never heard anything about that. Someone's disappointed that Martin and Gina didn't make the list.
Listen, it was close. It was it was either them or my wife and kids and Michael and Kyle, and that it was a toss up for me. But they didn't make overall. I'm surprised. I could say I guess I'm shocked that more people didn't. I don't know if people were off put because the way the show ended. I don't know. Like they seem like a great couple.
That's probably what it was. But then again, I mean, unless you watching this or got the box series, some people probably not even really up on it. Far as like, the new generation, the millennials, they probably not. Then again,
well, listen, we got stuff. We got people from the 50s on this list, James.
but see, like I said, with the 50s, you gotta look at it like this. I'm a 70s baby going into the 80s. So it was different. Watching TV back then was different than it is now. Because because right now you got so many TV programs, whether it's online, streaming services or whatever, even regular TV, that you got so much that you can watch. Back then, you didn't have all that access. I mean, shoot, it wasn't no streaming services or online or anything like that. It was what came on TV. And
right.
And I mean, even I remember when TV shut off at 12 midnight and the color lines came up. And wasn't nothing else on until about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. So it's different.
You're mad you get up too early, and I used to get up early for cartoons, and you're mad when there ain't nothing on. So like, come on, let's go.
Up at 6 o'clock waiting on the first program. So it's just different times. So, and then unless you like a real like a TV history buff and you want to see, programs from back then and take an interest in them, you really ain't gonna know it. So
that's true. All right, James, it's that time for the number one voted TV couple, the GOAT. It was unanimous from the tribe. My list, there was no other couple. I mean, from 1984 to 1992, they rocked the airwaves. They changed. We talk about, specifically, I talked about the dynamics between the two, the relationship they have. I spoke a lot about, admiring a relationship. And that was important to make the top person or top couple on my list. But we'll get into your reasons and what you feel about what I think is the greatest couple to ever appear on television. I'm talking about no other than the Huxtables. Cliff and Claire Huxtable coming in at number one. James, please tell me you agree with this selection.
I agree.
I know.
I didn't. Now, I was just gonna say this. I had Lucy. Lucy was my top, but they were my number two, and I could have flipped them either way. I only paid homage to Lucy and Ricky because they was the first one they was the most memorable one, the first one I ever seen, and then came the Huxtables. And for Black America, that was the biggest thing that ever came out. That could have been the best thing for us because it showed us that you can be a doctor, a lawyer, have a beautiful family, the possibilities of what you can do in Black America. And believe it or not, I mean, that was the example. And I know people who are that successful and got a family like that and sent their kids to college and and things like that. That ended up being the goal.
Yep.
So I mean, I have no problems with that being number one. You know, some people thought it was unreal, but it wasn't unreal to me because I seen it.
It wasn't unreal. I'm working on it right now, James. I'm working on it right now.
Well, I'm single, so the
That's
dream
all right.
is gone.
You got time still.
The dream is gone for me. My kid's almost grown.
It's all good, but that was the pinnacle on television. I mean, their relationship was great. Their relationship with their kids are great. Their relationship with the in-laws were good. They were coming over and listening to music together. It's just like so many great things that came off of that relationship. A lot of which you just mentioned. So, I mean, when you talk about the best of the best, I mean the way they joked, the way Cliff would try and steal food, and Claire would shut him down all the time. And listen, I know this was on network television, but that show, every episode, it seems like they was in the bed. They was in the bed. They had a bunch of kids, and they was always in the bed. Like, I didn't realize it back then, but Cliff he couldn't keep. Okay, maybe we know.
I realized it. I realized it because I ain't gonna lie, I had a crush on Felicia Rashad. Actually, I had a crush on just about everybody on the show. Lisa Bonet, So, but hey, it's like this. That's black love. Shoot, you got a beautiful wife in the bed with you. Shoot, you ain't supposed to be just laying there going to sleep. I mean, one thing about Lucy and Ricky, they slept in separate beds. How unreal is that, man?
Listen, I've heard about it.
I saw it. Yeah. And
I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. See, they definitely off the list. Get off. Like, how real is your love?
Well, I took it as back then they didn't want to depict, anything sexual on TV, so they put them in separate beds. That's how I figured, but they was in the same room in separate beds, man. So
yeah. But the Huxtables were definitely in the same bed.
Oh yeah, they was in the same bed.
Was amazing, and we still. Even the controversy that's, come about, a lot of people still reference him as, America's father, maybe not so much now, but
I still do. And I think that's another debate. I think is that thing was kind of blown up a little bit more than what it is, but that's another subject for a different time. So
yeah, we'll save that one for a different day.
Right.
That might be a different show. But yeah, so there you have it. What an amazing! I think for the most part, listen, my list, was about halfway there, but let's run it back there. Honorable mentions: Homer and Marge Simpson. Philip and Black Viv. I think Stokes says it's all Viv, but I'm gonna since he's not here, I'm gonna say that's Black Viv.
Yeah, Black Viv.
For sure. Tie going into our top 5. We had a tie at 4 with Lucy and Ricky Ricardo and Archie and Edith Bunker. Moving on to 3 was Corey and Topanga Matthews from Boy Meets World. Moving on up to George and Wheezy Jefferson at number 2, and number 1, Cliff and Claire Huxtable. Man, I think that comprises a solid top 5 list there, James. I think we could be proud of that one.
Yeah.
That one holds pretty strong.
Sometimes
we never know. We never know when the tribe and all these different experiences. People, different people growing up from different parts of the country. We often get a some kind would say a very crazy list of the top 5. We from week to week, but tonight is not that night. Tonight, I think we can feel pretty good about this list. Before we call it a night, I'm going to tell the people once again to go ahead and like the GOAT debate. We're on all the major podcast platforms, and to follow and like Social Network on all the major platforms. James, thank you for stepping in. What do you have for the people?
All I'm saying is, live life and have fun. That's all I'm saying. I enjoy being here and you having me on. And, I thought it was going to be a little bit more heated debate, but we pretty much saw eye to eye. I think we behaved each other, because I think he was expecting me to just come at you like, man, I'll put it this way. Believe it or not, I agree with you more times than you think. Now, I don't want to hear that, James. Yeah, because I look at it like this: the way you think about certain things, I be disagreeing with, but at the end, you come around to my side, and that's all that really counts.
All right, come to your side. Or maybe I convince you with my elegant words and my beautiful positioning that I was right all along. I think we'll say that.
We'll agree to disagree right now, man. Until next time.
Right. Until next time. And until next time, we thank you for joining us for another episode. Listen, I'll hold off. We have more news, James. I'm gonna have to hold it off. Out of respect to the guy missing in the seat, I'll hold off. We'll pause, but make sure you tune in next Thursday, maybe for some breaking news. We'll see.
All right. Okay. Good night.